Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Jarrell Hall, and welcome to a new show called Compositions. And this is my first episode, and I felt like who better to be my guest in the first episode than my best friend for over 20 years, Mr. Zachary Bixby. Say hello, Zach.
Hello, hello. How's everyone doing today?
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me on your show. Glad to be here, and let's get this started.
All right, all right. All right. So, in compositions, we're pretty much talking about music and how it shaped our lives. Everyone, I don't know anybody that doesn't like music, like at all. And we all have, certain songs or certain albums, certain musical artists that really helped us in life. And there's just some songs that got us through certain moments, things like that. So that's pretty much what this show is dedicated to. And yeah, so we're gonna get it started with like our earlier years. So Zach,
Mm-hmm.
uh, let's just start from when you were a kid. Uh, what do you remember listening to, while growing up, and what did you enjoy when you were younger?
Um, I enjoyed honestly a lot of stuff. I was introduced to a lot of genres at a really early age. Um, I was introduced to hip hop through you, honestly, because when we first met, whatever third, fourth grade, whenever I first came to your house, you were showing me different songs from like Michael Jackson and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
so that really stuck with me. It spans from that to when I was hanging out with my two grandmothers in the living room and we were watching these black and white shows. So songs from like Frank Sinatra and stuff like that. I discovered also rock, Lincoln Park. That was the first band as far as rock and stuff that I discovered. So at a very early age, I was hit with like different music from different backgrounds all at once. So it was like a beautiful thing. It was pretty amazing because it opened my eyes and it opened my heart to like so many different backgrounds, and it was amazing. Yeah, so I basically was introduced to quite a bit at an early age.
Well, that's very interesting. Yeah, it sounds like you started off good, like with good artists and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, me when I was a kid, like I don't know. Well, yeah, actually I do know. Ever since I was in diapers, I was just a huge Michael Jackson fan, and like you said, I introduced you to him and all that. Um, yeah, Michael Jackson he was like my first hero.
Mm-hmm.
I was in diapers, just looking at him trying to, just do his moves and and sing his songs. Of course, I couldn't do it, but like he was definitely like a big part of my childhood, and so much that my dad he actually recorded uh, a lot of his music videos from back in the like really old ones from his Bad album, his Thriller album, his Dangerous album. Like he just recorded all these random music videos for me to watch. Whenever I want to. Um, but yeah, Michael, you know, he definitely means a lot to me and still does. Like I mean, I it really killed me when he passed away, and
Yeah.
like so did the whole world. Um, but yeah, man, he played a huge part in my life, like from childhood to now. Like he's still like my biggest hero, and I miss him a lot. But
Was it the MTV videos back in the day?
No, not necessarily MTV. Like it was
Those
like
were
a
those were awesome.
yeah. Those were great. Yeah, like all of his music videos were great. It was, but no, this was like I don't know what channel it was on. I don't know what program I forgot the name of it or whatever. But
Yeah.
all I know, what I do remember, it was the host. It was this black guy who was a famous baseball player, and also Sean Lennon,
Okay.
John Lennon's son, and he was still a kid at this time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he was still a kid at this
that's
time,
way back
and
then.
he's the same, and he was on the movie Moonwalker with
Yeah.
Michael Jackson as well. You know, so yeah, it was those two were hosting the show, and they were just playing all these random, very old like Michael Jackson videos.
Okay.
And my dad pretty much recorded the whole program, and I just had it like ever since then. But but yeah, that's really that's how big Michael Jackson was to me, ever since I was a little kid. But after that, I pretty much was like getting my parents would play, like old school stuff. So as far as like old school stuff, like what did what did your mom play? Like I remember you saying like Frank Sinatra,
Well,
stuff like that.
my two grandmothers, they would play a lot of stuff from Frank Sinatra and some other very like bands from like the 50s and 40s, even 40s that I can't remember their exact title or whatever, but I got the music thing honestly most of it just from myself. I somehow stumbled on all these different genres. I don't know, maybe it was just I had an open mind to different stuff. I don't know. I wasn't very jaded. I wasn't very, whatever. Like I was so open to music. I like even nowadays, like I pretty much will listen to anything. If it has a good story, a good rhythm, a good instruments, just I don't know. It can span from anything. The only thing I really want to listen to, if it's just obnoxious, like just loud dubstep. I don't know. I used to be into dubstep, but I'm 32 now and I'm an old man, so I'm kind of out of that phase. But yeah, man, it was luck. I was lucky enough to have met, individuals like yourself that then introduced me to just a broader selection of music, and I'm very grateful for that because there's so many different songs that till this day will paint a picture in my head where I remember a certain moment in my life, and that's just amazing,
Yeah. Well, yeah. Speaking of like moments like that, like when it comes to like old school stuff, I was raised listening to like Motown,
Mm-hmm.
just Isaac Hayes and James Brown,
Yeah. Yep.
like Earth, Wind and Fire,
Yep.
like just old soul music, R&B, just that funk, George Clinton
Yeah.
and the Parliaments and Bootsy Collins, stuff like that.
I feel like with those kind of bands, like those kind of bands and those kind of people are literally like written in stone, meaning 500 years from now they'll be remembered. And that's kind of crazy.
Course. Are you kidding me?
It's kind of crazy though, because I feel like a lot of people want to be the next big artist and stuff, and I can guarantee you, man, that there's quite a few people that do music today that honestly will probably be forgotten in like 100, 200 years just because they didn't make that big of a footprint. But people like that and people like Michael, it was like, it was almost as if like encountering like aliens or something. Like they were so like incredible. Like their music and the way they just went about telling their stories, and oh man, it was unreal. Like it was just crazy.
Exactly. Like bands and artists like that. Yeah, they actually made an impact. They actually defined a certain generation or a certain decade.
Yeah.
So yeah, they will always be remembered. Of course, I can't say the same for some artists. Some current ones, but hey, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, like let's talk about like songs or the music that you got into like later on in life, like going like into your teenager years. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
What did you transfer over to? Like did you go from like one genre to another one like very heavily, or like explain that.
I would say that it pretty much, because I was introduced and open to so many things as a young kid, that basically stuck with me, like even till this day. So Linkin Park, I listen to them a lot. That's my favorite rock band. So there's not a whole lot of albums that I can listen to front and back. Linkin Park is a band that I can literally throw on the album and listen to it from intro to end.
Right.
My favorite album from them is probably Reanimation. That album, man, I don't know. That touched a part of my soul, man. I don't know. When I first heard that album, man, I was like just freaking blown away with the different mixed tracks, and I don't know, like Mine December is one of my favorite songs.
Oh yeah, love that song.
Paper Cut. Like, oh man, I don't know.
Like they took like one of the greatest albums ever and just
they made it
deliver it in a different way, and it was still freaking good.
It was unreal. Yeah. So I still have love for Meteora and Hybrid Theory. Those always be in my heart. But that Reanimation album, man. Like I was just listening to it the other day. Like it's, I don't know, that album did something to me. It's so rock, rap. As I grew older, I had a deeper appreciation for old school hip hop. Like I started discovering these artists that would have unfortunately passed away, or they're still alive. But yeah, I grew to love old school hip hop very much so. I value that kind of music writing, to be honest, more than what we're kind of seeing nowadays. Mm-hmm. There's not a whole lot of rap that I do like nowadays. There's some, but not as much as I love and value, as far as like I would say 80s, 90s. Mm-hmm. Some of my favorites, I think a lot of people choose these artists because as far as a go-to, but Eazy-E, Big Pun, Biggie, Tupac, of course. But yeah, man, that kind of, I don't know, Ice Cube, that they like, I would say they kind of like paved the way for like a new type of like music making and stuff, because like they were doing like these diss tracks at like like they would make these diss tracks and then they would go back and forth, and it was something very like very unique, and it was like very new, like I don't think that they were doing that before then. It was a lot of
they actually, like, there were diss tracks before the Tupacs and the Biggies.
I don't know if it was as popular though, like because
some were actually very popular. Like it just wasn't mainstream. Let me just put it that way. But they were actually popular.
Yeah, I just and finding that kind of like music making, and then like I just kept doing my research and just looking at different songs and artists from that era. So teenage years, Phil, I kept loving like rock and rap, and I would throw on different artists from like the 40s and 50s because listening to those kind of songs would remind me of my grandmothers and time spent with them. So anything from the 40s or 50s, I instantly think of them, and it makes me feel good. I have good memories of them as far as whether it's cooking with them in the kitchen or just having talks with them or holidays or whatever. Oh, that's another thing. Holidays. When with music, Christmas, man. Like all the different. I mean, it's amazing. Even till this day, they make there's people that are making like just classics, like but yeah, Christmas is probably it's one of my favorite times of the year, if not my favorite. Halloween being close behind, but that's one of the main reasons I love Christmas is because the music. The music is, I don't know, man. It just
Christmas does have some good songs. They do.
Yeah.
Like they really do. But yeah, I feel you on that one. When I was younger and then growing into my my teenager years, it's like I went from all this soul, R&B stuff. I went from that and then I jump into like hip hop, and that's back when I was listening to like Busta Rhymes, who was that? DMX, Dr. Dre.
What was it? The Neptunes.
That was the Neptune. Well, first, I was first introduced to them when they were in the RD, and the first song I heard from them was Lap Dance.
That album was so good.
I still need to get that album, by the way, and I will. But yeah, that was my introduction.
That
was my introduction to NERD, which turned into Neptunes later on. Yeah, but yeah, that album for sure. Neptunes Presents the Clones is one of the best hip hop albums of all time. Like I don't care what you say.
And it really is.
It's just classic. But yeah, like when I was younger, I was like listening to those guys, and I was just every time I think about like when I really got into like hip hop, it reminds me of back when I would leave school and then go to this recreation park, and all the kids there, like they just like we were just always listening to the radio. Back then it was Wild 98.7. Yeah. Like that was like the hottest radio station in the whole city, and we were always listening to it, always playing just different songs, and we pretty much loved everything that they played.
What is it, like 94.1 now or something? Or?
I have no idea. Well,
98.7 was the shit.
Yeah, it was. But this was, you gotta think about the time. Like this was over 20 years ago, man. Like seriously,
yeah,
this was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what station it is right now, what number, I don't know, but all I know is radio in general is not the same.
Whoever listens to this will be like, what's MTV? What's 98.7? What are you talking about?
They know what it is. Like, well,
what a bunch of boomers.
Yeah, some of us will know, but whatever. If you know, you know. But anyway, but yeah, like when I really started listening to hip hop, it was. I just remember it being so much fun, Like it was like actually good. Like the quality of, hip hop at that time, it was just so good. And no matter what song you played, like you enjoyed it. Like you really, really enjoyed it. Some will make you dance. Some will make you feel tough. Like some you just vibe with. It was just all good. Like even
there was a lot of good. There were. I will admit there was some good albums coming out. Like
just good albums, good like songs. That's just good anything. And it just reminded me. It reminded me of like the times when I would go to the park and and me and my sister, we would be playing with the other kids and stuff, and we would just all listen to all these songs, and they were just.
Did you ever listen to the Carter album? I know you did. The Carter albums. Carter 1, 2, 3.
Well, that was a little bit later.
That was
It was later than from what I was talking. Like what I'm talking about right now, we were still in Folsom at this time,
oh
and we were like closer to getting to like middle school.
oh okay.
Yeah. But yeah, like I was like when I was like really getting heavy into the hip hop, I was still in Folsom. We were like probably
okay.
4th, 5th grade.
Gotcha.
Going to middle school. But yeah, I just remember hip hop at that time just making me very happy, and you know, it was a great feeling. Like I have a lot of like great memories with hip hop back in that day. You know, it was just completely good, and you know, as far as songs that that remind me of, you know, a certain person or a certain time and all that, that was hip hop. Of course, with the R&B and you know the soul music, there's some that reminds me of my uncle. He used to sing this one song to me and my sister all the time. It's called, what was it? Me and Mrs. Jones. And every time he would see us, like he will hug us and just hold us and start singing that song to us, and yeah, it felt good, man. Like from the soul funk to the hip hop that I was listening to when I was getting close to middle school, all that stuff, it just made me feel really good, and yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, man. Like it was a big part of my childhood, and hip hop. It like when I was at that time, I was listening to hip hop, but I wasn't like, you know, listening to like the depth of it. You know, like cause some like I appreciate it, but not as much as I do now. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
You know, like I have a deeper appreciation for it, and you know, it's just, you know, back then I'm just a kid. I didn't know any better. Like I didn't know any better. I didn't know how to like fully like look deep into the details of what I was listening to and things like that. So, you know, that's just how it was back then. But as I was getting older and getting into middle school, yeah, I was still listening to hip hop, of course. I wasn't really into anything else at that time. I really don't, you know, now that I'm thinking, I really don't think throughout the 3 years in middle school I was into anything else.
Yeah.
You know, besides, you know, hip hop and R&B. I was really like just mainly hip hop. Mm-hmm. But that's really all I can remember during that time. But things changed, you know, as I got older.
To put on record, I didn't get into like researching different old school hip hop artists until high school. Mm-hmm. Just put on record. Definitely wasn't doing that in 4th or 5th grade. I mean, I'm not a little, a little badass. Right? Let's just get that straight. So yeah, no. Elementary was basically like, you know, songs from the 50s and 40s. Just because I used to live with my grandmothers. That's why I was introduced to it. It's not like I was like 8 years old. 50s music. Like I wasn't.
The Rat Pack. Yeah, listen to that.
That's how I got in, because I was literally surrounded by it on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, middle school. So this is another reason why music can literally change the course of, like, just life, man. I'm not going to lie to you. It can literally change the outcomes of different stuff in life, whether it's people or events. I'll tell you what, man, when I hit middle school, so because I used to watch hip-hop videos, you know, I don't know, man, I kind of converted and just started really falling in love with the darker skinned girls, and
my god!
and there was a music video. There is this music video called Tip Drill. And I swear to God in heaven, man, that literally changed my life. Changed my freaking life.
Oh
and
my god!
After that,
man.
I couldn't go back,
dude.
I couldn't.
That
I don't know. I mean, you have to understand, being 12, 13, watching that's literally a porn video. It literally is. It was so bad that it would come on at like 2 a.m. 2 a.m. It would come on.
Well, yeah. I mean, if for anyone that's listening,
damn you, Nelly.
If you're old enough, I'm sure you remember BET Uncut, which is a show that came on like 3 o'clock in the morning when you're supposed to be dead asleep to get ready.
I'm getting ready for this.
Yeah, you're supposed to be dead asleep, but instead you decide to stay up and watch music videos. And Tip Drill, when it came out, it blew the whole network up. And when I really don't know how, like, majority of the people like found out about it. Dude, of course the kids found out. I think, but like the parents and like other old people, like I don't know how they found out. But
as far as what they showed, bro, that's worse than Cardi B's WAP. Dude, because they literally showed like,
what's crazy is like videos like that they used to show it for like an hour early in the morning when everyone's asleep, but now you could just put on the TV and like broad daylight and you'll see the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, who plays music videos anymore? Like seriously. Yeah. They don't. Like, you have to go to YouTube to watch it. But anyway. But yeah, Tip Drill was really a big defining moment. And every boy saw that one.
Yeah, man.
That was a really funny... that was a big moment. Because, I mean, BET... Like, that was the one video that shut down BET Uncut. Like, all the other videos that they showed... It was all well and good.
I wonder why.
Yeah, it was all well and good. Like, they sort of show, like, the same things and stuff. But nah, Tip Drill was just the extreme. And, yeah, it was just too much for them. And they shut that whole program down.
I mean, all women are beautiful. But, like, I mean, I would see, like, a Spanish girl or a black girl. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna go that way. I'm gonna head that direction. I don't know. I can't help it.
Well, that's your preference, but that's just for a whole nother conversation. But anyway, but yeah, that was one funny moment. Let's just put it that way. But continuing on, like, so you said like during middle school you was just into like hip hop at the moment, right?
Yeah, middle school, it was just hip-hop and, rock and stuff like that. It was pretty much the main two, to be honest.
Okay, well, once we got into high school, like, did anything change? Or it kind of stayed the same?
I listened to, like, a little bit of, like, jazz was one of them. Dubstep I started listening to a little bit, because that was, like, the popular thing that was going on during that time. I started listening to music. Obviously, the show Samurai Champloo. That I don't know what kind of music that is.
That's New Javas.
That's
pretty much lo-fi music.
That until this day is one of my favorites, and that really like holy crap. I mean, it was almost like experiencing like Linkin Park for the first time. It was that big of an impact on me. I don't know why that music just resonates with me, but it's so beautiful. It's so amazing. But yeah, I really got into that in high school.
Well, are there any like songs or any artists or any albums that really like every time you hear it you think about a certain moment in high school, or Like anything that got you through high school, anything like that.
Um, hmm. I can't really say that. I don't know if there's any music that got me through high school. I mean, I personally didn't have the best time in high school. I mean, it was basically just a place to hang out with friends, and for me personally, so it wasn't like I was. I don't know. I didn't really weigh heavy on music to get me through anything. Not that I can think of, no. Like I said, music is different with people as far as experiences. So my experience was different. I didn't really weigh heavy on music to get me through any hard times or whatever. Not that I didn't go through hard times.
Right.
But what got me through hard times was just interactions, like hanging out with you, talking with you, or Philip or John, or those were what's got me through like bad times. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. Well, yeah, for me, like I said, middle school was just hip hop and R&B and stuff. But once I got into high school, that's when everything changed. And it changed because when I noticed how high school students are, it's different. It's really different It's really different from like middle school. Like I don't know. It's just like in middle school, like yeah, of course you have the fights here and there.
It's like the beginning stages of
you have the
maturity
people who just don't get along and stuff. But for the most part, everyone was just mingling with each other. Everyone liked each other. Everyone was hanging out and stuff like that. But I don't know why. Like in high school, it just changed. That you start seeing cliques,
groups,
like it's just like certain groups that were like they were like in that group, like they're all the same, and then you'll see another group. They're different from this first group, but they're all in this certain way.
I didn't like that at all. I hated that.
It was tough. Like it was tough, dealing with that because you're just trying to find out where you belong.
That's why I literally went to every single one of those groups and was like, "Hey, I'm Zack," and, and I became friends with everybody, man. I did not. Once I saw that happening, I literally took it upon myself. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try and be friends with them. Like, I didn't care if you were some kid wearing a black jacket drawing anime on the ground, or if you were some quote unquote ghetto kid posted up the wall. I would literally go up to you and we'll just have a conversation.
Well, yeah, like I just saw all these different groups of kids, and I don't know. It's like,
did you feel
it's like some of them like just automatically just clicked, and they formed that group, and they did it so fast, and it's like.
Did you feel pressured into like choosing a group, or like did you feel obligated to choose, or?
No, I didn't feel. No, I didn't feel like I was obligated. I was just just come across. I just came across certain kids, and depending on like our the interaction, when we start talking, if it was cool, then we just build up on that. But if it wasn't clicking, then we just talked that one moment and then we just went our separate ways. Or if we're in the same class, we just talked that one moment, but after that we didn't talk anymore, but we still take the same class, that sort of thing. Like it was a very confusing time for me because I was just trying to find out, I was just trying to find a friend, like just in general, someone who I can just go to, connect with, and just socialize with someone. I didn't want to go through high school alone. Like no one should do that. Because you need.
It's healthy to have some kind of interaction with.
You need someone that you can talk to in school. But yeah, like it's just. I don't know. It's like the first couple, like the first 2 years was it was actually good, and I don't know. It's I don't remember I don't remember anything like big happening in those first 2 years. I was just the new guy, at tech and stuff, and just trying to find new friends here and there and stuff. Just trying to fit in somewhere. Um, but and I'll get back to the music, after I'm done. Like, had um, I had a couple of moments where I was like trying to be in a relationship with this person, but you know they didn't want to be in one, and things like that. Like, there were certain things that I went through that I've never really went through before, and I just didn't know how to handle it, and that made me confused. I was lost, and I didn't know how to handle it. Like, I really didn't.
And that's normal though, as far as
Yeah, it's normal, but when it's like your first time, it's like,
yeah, you just feel like,
what
am I doing wrong?
Yeah, like you think there's something wrong with you, and you start doubting yourself, and you start questioning things. Like I was I was questioning a lot about myself, and then I wasn't sure. And music wise, at that time, like hip hop and R&B and all that, like it I still enjoyed it, but it wasn't like really speaking to me.
Yeah.
And at a certain point through high school, especially like during junior year, like somewhere during high school, I started looking, like I started like searching for something to like really speak to me, to just something that I could really like connect to, because I was, like I said, I was dealing with feelings that I never felt. I didn't know how to handle it and stuff like that. So I was just looking for something that can relate to me. And yeah, at that time, hip hop and R&B, it just wasn't it. It wasn't.
Yeah. It's
But,
different emotions that you're experiencing.
Yeah,
too,
like emotions I just never had before. I was having it, and I'm like, wow. So music wise, and it's funny because you brought him up earlier. Linkin Park was the beginning for me. Like, as far as knowing, like learning about these feelings that I'm dealing with, and learning how to how to get through it, like learn like what it means, what it feels and stuff. Like, they were the ones that really got me through it, and I really have to. I have to. I have to thank a friend of mine. I'm not gonna say her name, but this friend of mine. We met each other in freshman year, I believe. Like, we had the same class or whatever. She was like the biggest Linkin Park fan that I knew. Like, she was like the first big fan that I met.
Chester's face is on the backpack. You're like, all right, well.
No, not that. But she definitely had like Linkin Park merchandises, and she drew like Linkin Park designs on her notebook and stuff like that. Like we did with our stuff.
Kid shit.
Yeah, kid shit. Yeah. But yeah, she was actually the one that introduced me to Linkin Park, and it was like, I actually remember, every morning when I would get ready for school. This was back when MTV and VH1 all they still showed music videos. I remember like getting up and getting dressed and all that, and every time while I'm getting dressed, I'm watching like MTV music videos and stuff. And every morning they would play Linkin Park's video to Numb.
Yeah.
This was around the time Meteora came out.
Yeah, they played that music video a lot.
Yeah. Like, I'm talking about every
now that
day.
I think about it, a lot.
Yeah, they played it every day. And for some reason, I never like changed the channel, because like at that time, like before I got into Linkin Park, I was not into rock like that. Like hard rock. I wasn't into that, because I was like, cause I had a stupid, stereotype about rock. I thought like all rock music was just all that loud screaming and you can't understand what they're saying, and the guitar just playing everywhere and stuff like that. It was a stupid stereotype that I had for rock music, and that's why I never listened to it. I was like, it's just a bunch of just random noise and stuff. So I never listened to it, and then by the time I got to high school and all that, and they started playing, Numb, I actually just sat there and listened to it. I don't know what made me just sit there and listen to it, but I actually listened, and I was like, I didn't know it was Chester at the time, but I was like, this guy, he's singing it. It's a rock song, and he's singing it, but I understand every word he's saying. Mm-hmm. Like everything is crystal clear with this guy. Even when he's like kind of, screaming the song a little bit, like the words, like I still understood what he was saying. Mm-hmm. And it just blew my mind. And every day I kept listening to it. I was like, who is Linkin Park? Like what if they have a song like this, like what else do they have? So when I found out that my friend, that she was a big fan of that band, and she really schooled me on them, and she actually gave me, well, she didn't give me like the original, but she made a copy of the Meteora album and gave it to me, and that's when things, emotionally got better for me. Like I was still down, but I felt a slight comfort because Linkin Park was actually talking about the things that I was going through. They were like the emotions that I was dealing with. They were speaking about it, and it just made me feel so much better. But I was still dealing with trouble with myself and stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was just good to know that there was someone I can go to.
Yeah.
And then after listening to that whole album, that's when I really appreciated, the guitars, the bass, the hard, like the drums, like just all that loud noise and the screaming and stuff that I was hearing from Linkin Park. Like I learned to appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Because those are real emotions that you can actually go through.
Yeah.
And yeah, and from that moment, I was like, okay, who else, has, songs like this? So
something
makes me like this.
Somewhat similar. Or...
Yeah, somewhat similar. And that's when I got into Korn.
Oh yeah. Korn is amazing. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was crazy. It's like a lot of and that's the thing about me at that moment. Well, I'm still this way. I find the new in the old. You know what I'm saying?
The same time, yeah.
Like I find the new in the old because at that moment when I was discovering all this good rock music and stuff, tons and tons of people were listening to it way back, in middle school, even elementary, yeah. And I'm just now listening to it in high school. So of course I am super duper late, but better late than never. Mm-hmm. All I know is that at that moment I was finding all these different artists and bands and stuff and their songs. I was finding it at a moment when I really needed it.
Yeah.
And and I have to say, like, I don't know what I would have done, what would have happened. I don't know who I would have been, who I would have became. Like, I don't know what would have happened to me if I didn't find those songs, if I didn't find that, those bands, like, cause I was really lost, Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really have to thank Linkin Park for getting me through all 4 years. Like they were the ones,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, and real quick, I have to say, rest in peace to Chester. His death, it was a shock,
Yeah, it was a big shock.
and it really shook the world, and it really made me sad, cause I
I remember that day I called you and told you, and you were like, you were telling me like, no, that's not real.
Man.
I was like, nah, man, it's it's real, and the like Linkin Park impacted my life and Jarrell's life so much that I remember us like both like crying on the on the phone.
Yeah, I mean he was a big deal, like the whole band was. I mean I just couldn't believe that it happened, like in that way. I just couldn't. Yeah. That's why. That's why you really have to just be thoughtful. Be thoughtful.
Aware, thoughtful, and
be thoughtful. Of another. Towards another person, because you just don't know what they're going through.
Another thing that's crazy is like whenever that whenever that happened, and then I started listening to his songs again, I'm like, then they really felt different. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
I was like,
like
it really like shook me a little bit. I was like, dude.
Yeah, he was really going through something. Like he really was speaking his
for like a long
his pain.
time.
And some some of us just considered it entertainment and stuff, but others they really felt it, and it was like, yeah, he's really in pain and stuff, but
it really didn't make sense or hit me again after the fact of that incident, him passing away. Like I said, listen to those songs, it was just like, I was like, man, this is kind of hard.
Yeah, the songs, they do hit different now. They do. And all I can say is he made those songs. The whole band made those songs for the world, pretty much. They did it for us. And I can only hope that them creating those songs kind of healed themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
I can only hope for that. But I wish that Chester speaking his mind and expressing his thoughts and his feelings, I wish it would have healed him more so. I wish it would have changed his mind,
Yeah.
But clearly something so deep and so horrible was bothering him that he made that decision, and so
rest in peace, Chester. Thank you for everything you've done.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for all your albums, your art, your expressions, your emotions, everything. So
thank you.
We'll always appreciate you.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
the band.
Thank you for all your work, man. Thank you for your words. Your expression. Thank you for all of that. Like you helped me in a lot of ways, and you were the one that let me know that it was okay to feel lost or feel like you didn't belong somewhere. Made me feel like I'm at my wit's end. Like you told me that you could feel that way and it's okay to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
You'll still make it through. So yeah, rest in peace, Chester. We love you, and thank you, Linkin Park. Overall, your music is still with us. we still listen to it, and yeah, just thank you for everything. But yeah, moving on. It got sad in here.
Is that a dark cloud above me?
And
Is it raining?
Yeah, I didn't mean for it to go that sad, but yeah.
You gotta pay, tributes to.
Yeah, you definitely got to pay homage to
the
people that really, touch your life. But yeah, high school, like music wise, that's when I really, like, just started opening up, and I would find this song, this band, this album, this stuff, and it just kept growing, and it expanded to like other genres that normally I would have never listened to. You know what I mean? So yeah, for the most part in high school, it was really mostly rock. It was mostly rock.
I still remember when when I was hanging out with you one time and you put on Pearl Jam. And you know that scene from American Gangster where Denzel's like, my man. Dude, I swear to God, I was like that. When you started playing some Pearl Jam, I was like, Jarrell, that's what I'm talking about. I was like, yeah. I was like, yes.
Well, it's funny that you say that because that was after high school. So moving right along, like after high school, like what music were you like listening to at that time? Like what did you get into, if anything?
I started, believe it or not, I started listening to some country. There's some decent country songs out there. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I am not, but there's a few good country songs that I do like. So I started listening a little bit of country, and I started listening to, continued to listen to like jazz, rock, hip hop. Then I started random orchestra. Like I started, or not orchestra, but opera. I started listening to opera. I started just...
That's interesting.
It is, yeah. I started listening to just random stuff, and if it sounded good to me, I would be like, nice. I would just kind of go with the flow and just do further research and see if there's anything else that would, again, sound familiar or whatever that I could connect with. I started looking back at like older rock songs, Aerosmith, bands like that.
Great fucking band.
Yes, I started finding older bands of rock and just again appreciating the value that they were able to showcase. Got into hardcore metal, like the screamo stuff. I know you're not a fan of that, but I till this day I'll listen to it, and I started getting into that, or discovering that and getting into that. Hip hop, I still kind of just, it was the same. I knew of the old, the current, whatever. Right. That didn't really change. The genre that Samurai Champloo is known for, I keep forgetting.
Lo-fi.
Yeah. Listen to lo-fi at one point pretty religiously for like a few months. And I would listen to that while it was either drawing or exercising, gaming. I'd turn off the game music and listen to that. So that was pretty much the course of that after high school. And that pretty much reflects even today. Like it's technically the same. It's what I do nowadays. I'll listen to that, or I'll listen to anything that's mainstream, I guess. I'll give it a chance, and if it's crap, I'll just like whatever. But I mainly, whenever I listen to music, honestly, man, I mainly listen to a lot of older stuff. That's what brings the good memories, the good feels, So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Like, for the most part, yeah, for me, like, ever since, ever since I left high school, it's pretty much it's mostly the same for me.
Yeah.
I listen to the same genres. I mean, the only like the only thing that I can say that that really kind of changed how how I see things, how I understand things, stuff like that is yeah, it's like certain, I guess, in not certain genres per se, but like certain bands. Like there were some bands that I was like into in high school, but then there was some bands that I got into afterwards and stuff. Yeah, like Pearl Jam, like you brought it up. Pearl Jam was one of them.
This
and
is the shit.
Yeah, yeah, Pearl Jam. You know what? I don't even remember how I got into them.
I don't know how you did either.
I don't remember when I started listening. I just know that ever since I started, I never stopped.
You threw it on your car one time. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like,
"Actually, you know what?
He knows this."
You know what? I take that back. I actually, yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, I take that back. I know exactly how I got into them. It was freaking Guitar Hero. That's what it was.
Good old Guitar Hero.
Yeah, it was.
That's such a good game, man.
Yeah, I love the game. Yeah, it was good. Guitar Hero 3 to be exact. And I remember I was on my Xbox 360. I had the demo at first.
Did we ever play together? I can't remember.
No, I never had the guitar. I always played with the controller, the regular controller. Yeah, I never got the guitar part, but it was still fun. I was still able to play it, so it was great. But one of the songs in the demo was "Even Flow" by Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
And like, even though it was a demo, there was like 5-6 songs that you could play. "Even Flow" was one of them, and I ended up falling in love with that song the most. I really, really got into it. So after that, that's when I started looking into them, and I found out that they were like an early '90s band. Like late '80s, early '90s. Like they're pretty old, but I went back to their first album, 10, and I listened to it. And I was like, oh my god, that's another album that I can listen to forward and backwards and just enjoy the entire thing. It was a really awesome show, awesome album. But yeah, that's how I got into them. And
there was another band that I was so glad when, like, I can say this 110% that I was so happy when you started broadening your
horizon.
Dude, because you like, and then there was another time where, like, we were chilling and you threw on freaking Deftones. I said, "This motherfucker, this guy's," I was like, "He's doing it." I was like, "Yes, dude, you were playing all these great like bands," and I was like, "Oh God, there is one, yes, yes."
Yeah, I was, like I said, man, like I was like finding all these different things that would kind of introduce me to these bands that I never heard before and stuff. And what's funny is like Deftones I got into after high school.
Yeah.
But when I like looked into their catalog and I saw the White Pony album, like the logo of it,
yeah,
I was like, I remember seeing that logo. I remember seeing that logo on like a bunch of people's notebooks and book bags and stuff, like because that was when the White Pony came out. It came out while we were still in high school, and like a bunch of these kids, like they had like the logo on their book bag, and like even the name Deftones, they had it on their school supplies and stuff. And I was like, okay, so that's who these guys are, And what's funny is I actually fell in love with one of their songs without knowing who they really were.
Which song was it?
I was introduced to Deftones, and this was before like I even knew who they were. Like before I even looked into it. You remember Queen of the Dam?
Oh yeah, that album is insane.
Right.
Yeah.
Great freaking album. Yes. One of the songs on the album is Change.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they play the song in the movie as well. And I've always
Dude, that song is
yeah.
It hits different, man. I don't know.
I've always enjoyed that song. Like, it's a great, beautiful fucking song. Yes. Always loved that song. But I never like sat down and said like, asked
who's this from? And,
like who is this? And like what do they look like? What other stuff did they have? I never really paid attention at first. All I know is that was a good song and I love it. But later on, like, this when I was like looking for like more bands and stuff, and then I heard that song again, I was like, you know what? Let me look into Deftones this time.
Heck,
yeah, I looked into it and I just found, one after the other, like as far as songs and stuff, and I was like, wow, because like
they've got quite a few.
They got
a lot.
They have a lot of great albums.
They've been around since I think
they were around.
I would say
early '90s too. Like they came out like a year. Year or two, like before or after Korn. I believe it's after Korn.
I think they came out in the late '80s. It was like '88 or something like that.
Maybe. I'll have to do research. All I know is like I remember seeing like video clips of Korn and Deftones like hanging out and chilling and stuff. But yeah, they were a very old band. But God, they made great fucking.
Did
music.
you ever like Limp Bizkit? Did you ever get into him?
They had a few songs that I actually enjoyed, like Break Stuff and what was that song? Keep rolling.
I really enjoyed.
Yeah, they actually had a few songs that I actually enjoyed, but I'm not big into the band though.
I will say that as far as whenever you were to go purchase like a CD and the front album art, dude, it was. Korn by far had the most unique and artistic.
Yeah,
bro. Till this day, I love those.
Yeah, they had really good.
Limp Bizkit had some really cool covers too.
Yeah, he had like a theme, like that character with the red hat. Like that same character was on every album, right? Yeah.
So those. God, dude, those cover arts were so freaking.
That actually reminds me of Disturbed, because Disturbed.
All
their album, like almost all their album covers like has that same character on it and stuff. But
another great band.
Yeah, Disturbed. I can't remember how I got into Disturbed. I actually mean it this time. I don't remember how I got into them, but all I know is like I heard them, and I fell in love with it. Like they got really good albums, really good songs.
Yeah, that's just the beautiful thing about music, man, is that it just you unknowingly just stumble upon different stuff.
Oh yeah.
Without even trying, it just happens.
Oh yeah.
That's why music is just another reason why music is such like a it's such a savior, man. It really is.
Oh, yeah.
Music is
For
like
sure.
Without music, man, life would be
life would be boring.
It'd be so
life
dull.
would be so difficult.
It'd be so dull. It wouldn't even.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know, because it spans from not just, artists and stuff like that, but it ranges from background noise and movies and television and just everything, dude. Yeah, everything.
Like music has a very important role in this world, and people should like really. Appreciate it more.
Appreciate that shit.
Yeah, and we should actually expand it, like make more, music schools, and teach people how to play certain instruments and stuff like that. You never know what you're able to do, until you try.
Right.
But yeah, music. We all. I don't care who you are, no matter what your beliefs are, what your race is, your gender. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are.
It brings people together.
Everyone like has a certain noise, a certain sound that they love. We all need that sound, no matter what it is.
It's one of the few things as well that can bring people together.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Whatever your background is, whether you speak a different language,
It
I mean,
doesn't
it
matter.
can literally bring people together.
Music is like universal language.
You could chill, and that, I would say the same thing with food. Food it brings people together. Music, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have a huge passion for both, man.
Yeah. But yeah, music, like, as far as like my adulthood, music has played it continues to play a big role in my life. It showed me how to just, I see things differently, how to say things differently, like, and it's with the help of like certain like bands and musical artists, and like it's just like when I listen to their songs and the way they phrase things, the way they see the world, and it really like makes you go like hey let me see if I know what he's talking about, but let me see if I can try to see it from that angle. Let me change my perspective on certain things and just try to see it in another way, see if it makes more sense that way. Like Deftones was, and like Pearl Jam, like they were one of the bands that really like showed me a different way of talking or expressing yourself through words and stuff. And that's the like music artists like that's what actually got me. They helped me start becoming, like, they actually helped me become a writer, it's because before that like I wasn't big, I wasn't writing at all, like I wasn't writing not one thing. But after going through all those emotions and learning how to deal with it and get through it and get to the other side and just living my life, accepting who I am as a person, and always looking, trying to be a better person every single day. All those songs that I listened to that got me to that point. It just, I don't know, it just something just told me to just sit down and start writing. And and that's exactly what I did. I felt at that moment, I felt like I was so in touch with my emotions. I was so sure of myself enough to be able to sit down and write about myself, like what I was going through, and what this happened and that happened, like, and also in a form of poetry, like that. My love for music and what music did for me, like that's what got me to that point, because I listened to hip hop, like, all my life, like, so that poetry part, that that plays a role, and it stayed with me for a very long time. And then once I started listening to these rock bands that were like really going into like the emotional stuff, and like how they expressed it, how they phrased it, and all this stuff, like that just went along with the poetry part, and that all of that put together, it just helped me be able to write the things that I write, and it's, and I, and to this day I still write, and it's all because of everything I've went through and how music got me through it, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't know what music is going to do for me in the future. Like, it might do something really big for me, something little, like whatever. I don't know. All I know is that I have a deeper love for it, a deeper appreciation, and and I care about it a lot, and until I die, it's going to be something. It's going to be something that I keep with me. It's I just love it too much. Which brings me to, like today's, time. How do you like, as far as music goes, is there anything that's affecting, oh, not affecting, but like something that's like going on, in your life right now that helps you? I mean, like the music that that helps you get through it.
Well,
I know it's mostly like the same, but like, is there anything that really stands, like any artist that stands out the most that really, gets you going? Like today.
Oh, today it would probably be. It's called the Amity Affliction. It's
never heard of it.
It's a hardcore rock band. They got some really good songs. It's a very most of it is upbeat and feel tough kind of song. Then they've got some songs that are a little slower and more on the feel side.
Yeah.
Amity Affliction. The Samurai Champloo soundtrack. I listen to that.
Still listen to that.
Yep, I listen to that.
I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, every now and then I listen to that.
I listen to that honestly like once a week. It's just become a part of my, daily thing, I guess.
Yeah, lo-fi music. I pretty much it's safe to say that I listen to it every day too. It's just great music.
I don't know. There's nothing that can like detach me from that. It's just become embedded into like my, DNA. I just I don't know. I would say those. That's about it. I try to, like when I come home from work or whatever, I'll listen, to maybe some jazz or a little bit, low beat stuff. But definitely in the morning, I like to listen to more upbeat stuff to get the day started and stuff like that. Definitely don't want to start off with, depressing, I don't know, like make you think about life twice kind of music. Like, I don't know. But, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah. Currently, like I said, I pretty much listen to lo-fi every day almost. And, it's just, just random stuff here and there. I mean, it's not just like one person. It's like a bunch of people. I can't really like name them all.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Did you listen to Kid Cudi, right?
I know him, and I heard like just a couple of like his feature songs and all that. But ever since he came out, I never like really like listened to his songs at all.
His newest album, Man on the Moon, Part 3. I listened to that album this morning.
Yeah, I saw that it came out.
It's really good.
Like
whoever's listening, listen to that because it's good.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Yeah,
it's really good.
I mean, the latest thing I heard from him was the one he did with Eminem, and I love that song. Yeah, and but I'm always like looking for like new stuff to try out and stuff, but it's kind of hard to find that good music, And in this day and age, it's very hard to find it.
Another good, as I'm assuming we're closing this, I would say another good album is Blue Side Park from Mac Miller. Holy crap!
It was unreleased, but then they released it, right?
Yeah, Blue Side Park is sick. That is it is. Mac Miller had some really good albums, and unfortunately he passed away. But he was a really good artist. He had good music.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of artists that a lot of people say like they were like for real good, It's just I never got around to like looking up
We got
their
time,
materials.
man. Yeah.
You know?
It's never too
there's-
late to, just sit
Yeah,
down.
I really need to like start sitting down and just going back and looking through all these different rappers like catalogs and stuff.
I'm very thankful for, and I'm not sponsored by the way, but Spotify. If you guys want to, let me know. But yeah, Spotify, man. Christina got me the some like premium version or whatever all year, so it's no interruptions, and it literally connects me to different stuff as I'm listening to like a certain song or a band.
Yeah.
And I have to thank them for introducing me to a lot of stuff. Honestly.
Well, that's good. That's good. Like, if I have to thank anybody, YouTube, like, brought certain things to my
Again, not
attention.
sponsored, but if you just letting you know.
It's just the first episode, man. We ain't there yet.
We may have those golden voices. You never know, man.
We ain't there yet, but
We have those radio voices.
yeah. Well, I guess there's no more to say then. We pretty much just laid it all out
This
there.
is a beautiful episode of your new show.
Oh yeah, man.
Very much appreciated that you thought about me. And
Dude,
to be
like,
honest,
it was only right. It was only right. I mean, come
very
on.
much appreciated.
Yeah, no problem. Is there anything you would like to say before closing this out?
Just want to say
Any
that
shout outs?
Shout outs to Jarrell Isaiah Hall
I appreciate it.
for
Don't giving these people my government name.
for being literally one of my best friends, for my only best friend as far as almost 30, oh my gosh, we're almost hitting that 30-year mark.
Yeah.
And I don't know a whole lot of people that can say that as far as having like a relationship like that, like as far as like a brotherhood. And I'm extremely proud to showcase that, man. I don't know. I'm extremely blessed to have something like that. Shout outs to my mom and dad. Shout outs to music. Thank you for everything you've done in my life that literally changed and altered the course of my life. I mean, I don't know. Like, there's so many different songs that paved the way for me, man. So I love music so much. Thank you for everything you do for us. Back to you, Drew.
Yes. Yeah, I would like to first of all, thank Zack for being my guest and allowing me to make this episode with him. And thank you for everything that you said. It was I learned. I got to learn a lot, Like I know you very well. It's just like, just some of those details I didn't know. I'm like, oh, okay, that was nice.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Same goes with you. Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. But yeah, shout out to my mom and dad, my sister, my 2 nephews. I love all of you dearly. And all I can say is them. This is the first episode, but there might be more. If I can find someone else to interview, then I'll do that. But just stay tuned. You never know. Anyway, this is Compositions. I'm your host, Jarrell Hall, and we're done. Thank you for listening.